It's up for grabs now. Thomas, right at the end.
And it's Tony Adams put through by Steve Ball. Would you believe it? Welter! Patrick Vieira is in for Arsenal and sweeps it home. It's Bergkamp. That's magnificent. He stripped it away from Carr. Henry!
And it's Arsenal! Arsenal FC! With my fancy!
It's time to go.
Good morning. I'm sorry, everyone. I think we're going to have a lot of delays today. I don't know what's happening with the internet around here. It's absolutely not working properly. A lot of problems. So hopefully we won't be disturbed too much, but bear with us. And I've got our guest this morning. It's on our show that we're going to be doing every week. And it's Kenny Ken.
How you doing, guys?
Where's Kenny? Kenny?
How you doing, guys? You okay? Everyone's all right? Yeah, it's been we're in Europe, Claude, aren't we? Hello? Hello, everyone. This is the Claude and Banstas show. I'm Kenny Ken. Just waiting for Claude to come back on. Claude's got a few technical problems, but we'll be going through every match today and over the weekend, including the big games over the weekend involving Arsenal, Man Utd, Tottenham, all the clubs, and also the relegation battles. Just waiting for our brother Claude to come back into the chat.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kenny, I'm getting really pissed off this morning. I'm really getting pissed off with this thing.
And we're back. And Claude's back.
Yeah, I'm really getting pissed off with this. I don't know what's going on anymore. It tells me my speed is fast and everything like that, and it keeps going. I don't know what if it's StreamYard or messing about. If it is StreamYard, you know, you're going to lose a bloody customer soon because I've had enough of this. Right. Anyway, Kenny, how are you, mate?
I'm all good. It's a nice day. Nice day for a good long walk. Nice day to go for a run. You know, or nice day to, you know, you can actually sit in your garden. You know what I mean? I think it's we're at this stage where you can cut the grass. So that's spring's upon us. Spring's look round the corner.
Before we start the Premier League games and predictions and everything else, by the way, everyone can join in as well on the predictions if you want. Arsenal against Olympiacos. I'm looking at Olympiacos in the next round. I'm looking at the players. I've seen some. They've got some good quality. They've got the is it Arabi or what's it up front? And there's a guy called Camara, midfield, a really top player. And it could cause us a lot of problems. He's a complete midfield player. Absolutely could cause us a lot of problems. And so it's going to be a tough game. It'll be a tougher game than Benfica, who I thought our performance the other night. I thought the other night it was poor. I think we got out of it with individual class in the end. I mean, that just got us out of it. But the overall performance was poor. And if we don't up the ante in the next round, we won't be going through to the quarterfinals. That's for sure. We need to really be back on our game. I don't know about what you were thinking, Kenny. Was you thinking differently to me? I don't know. I mean,
No, I'm in total agreement with you. Is that, you know, everything, the balance of the side was all wrong. I thought, you know, playing Smith Rowe and Odegaard isn't helping the side, and it's just it's basically it's basically a ruse to try and get the best out of Aubameyang, try and give him some service. But it's at the expense of other players. It's at the expense of probably a Pepe. Definitely at the expense of Pepe, and it's actually at the expense of Smith Rowe, because what's happened, because everything's going for Odegaard, Smith Rowe's redundant, and he's had to try and do jobs with the ball, because with that, the way we're playing in midfield, you've got Ceballos in there as well, who I think is turned into a Joey Coyg, having the individuality kicked out of him by this manager. I think what's happened is that in that game, because the midfield was so bunched up and they're all going to each other's spaces, it left a lot of space for Benfica on the counter-attack. And another thing as well, it allowed Benfica's forwards to bully our defence, especially when Nunez came on. He absolutely mullered David Luiz and Gabriel. And I think that a lot of that is to do because of the space they had in the midfield and the time they were on the ball with that system. Yeah, individual errors as well. And I think as well, our passing was too slow, so it was very easy for Benfica to get the bodies behind the ball and make the runs and make us offside. But when we played the quick, incisive passes and quick, incisive crosses, that's when we got luck, and we managed to turn Benfica. You know the way with the first goal, you know, quick pass, Aubameyang, then Willian, quick pass, Tierney, you know, takes it on his own, scores a great individual goal, and then the quick cross. That the defenders don't like those balls bent in where you're on the shoulder and you can get in the far post. Goalkeepers ain't got no chance of it. Defenders can't defend that unless they're committing a foul. So it's good individual play, but we're too lopsided. We've still got a lot of square pegs around around goals, and that's why whoever we play, even in the Premiership, and whoever we play in Europe, it's going to be a more difficult game than it should be. Olympiacos are going to fancy their chances because we're not a very good team. We may have good personnel, but we've got no organisation. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah," and be coming up and saying that the reason why we got to give this manager a buy is because he can't legislate for individual errors, and because we're a newish team, we are going to make mistakes. But I'm sorry, that's not on. If you look at Frank Lampard's team in Chelsea last year, he had a lot of youngsters that he was shoehorning the team because they didn't have a transfer window. So, you know, they're shoehorning Mount into the side. Tamori got into the side for Chelsea. Abraham, Hudson-Odoi, all these other players, and Billy Gilmore as well, alongside you know established players. Remember, he's brought Zuma back from loan to start. So that's a player who's probably hasn't played in the Chelsea first team for 2 or 3 years. So that was lopsided, but they still managed to get in the top four, even though they were lopsided, and they still managed to get to a cup final. It's Frank's 4th season. So it's the results that are going to count. You know, it doesn't wash that a lot of these people, commentators and certain people who are behind what I call the get-along gang, who are behind Mikel, come out with these scenarios, and that we have to tolerate this. No, you don't have to tolerate this. We're in a results business, and that's the only thing that's you should legislate it by. It's no good saying, "Oh yeah, if we get a new right back and we get blah blah." It's absolute waffle. And also, I want to address another thing about Bellerin, that Bellerin wants to leave Arsenal because of the abuse he's getting. I think you need to recheck that. Bellerin does not want to leave Arsenal because of the abuse he's getting. Bellerin has not played in the Champions League for 5 years. So if he hasn't played in the Champions League for 5 years, he's going to want to leave Arsenal because we're not in the Champions League. We're not playing Champions League football. And he can't get in the Spain side at right back. I think he's leaving for his career. I don't think a few catcalls and a few remarks about his off-the-field activities, i.e. his catwalk stuff, is going to make you want to leave a football club. If we're in the Champions League and challenge for honours, he'll stay. So I think it's just lazy, that sort of analogy. And, he is allowed to have some sort of ambition. And another thing as well, he's a player that we've always wanted to upgrade on anyway. So, again, I think people need to look at the facts, look at what football's about, i.e., the results business, and stop trying to support their theories because you want to, keep this manager. That's fine. That's your decision. But just tell the truth about the situation. Just say it's not good enough. You know what I mean? There's loads of good coaches who don't make good managers. Glenn Hoddle, one of the best coaches I've ever seen. You speak to a lot of football players who played under Glenn Hoddle. They say that his man manager ain't the best, and that sometimes he attends sessions with the Moonies, but not one of them has said he's a poor coach. Not one of them, and that's because. And in fact, they said he's one of the best coaches they've ever had, but that didn't translate at club level with Tottenham. They had to let him go because the results weren't good enough. Yeah. We're in a situation where people say, Arsene Wenger.
He with England, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did all right with England because it's international football. But in terms of the league thing, he didn't work out for him, especially Spurs. And let's think at Chelsea, I think they were 10th or something, 13th or something. He left them in the same position when he went and got the England job. Mikel Arteta is
tactically, the international level is where you have to be astute.
He was brilliant, and he has some rotten luck, especially the game against Argentina.
Yeah,
and he should never have lost his job, in my opinion. He was stitched up, and I think that hurt England because we got idiots.
By a bloke who's now become a top coach. By the way,
we had idiots after him. Kevin Keegan couldn't. Is one of the worst coaches I've ever seen. Newcastle, one of the teams that won matches, won in spite of him, not because of his coaching style, because he couldn't coach. And Sean Eriksson is one of the biggest frauds in football. All he cared about was his pan note.
Yeah. Well, he weren't that bad a record, was it? I mean, Eriksson always went out on shootouts rather than being embarrassed.
Come on, with that team of players, if Glenn Hoddle had those players, England would definitely have challenged and got to a final one of those tournaments.
I think when you go out on penalties, though, it's a bit. There is a fine line, isn't there? There is a fine line because penalty shootouts. It's not as if they were beating on the pitch.
You're Italian, mate. What are you complaining about? You won the World Cup in a penalty shootout, didn't you, in Berlin?
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But I thought that year, if you look at the tournament as itself, I thought Italy deserved to win it. To be honest with you, over the tournament,
England didn't. England stunk the place out under Eriksson. Should have done better in Portugal 2004. All I'm trying to say about Mikel. Wenger says he's a good coach. Mourinho rates him highly. So does Guardiola. I'm sure Bielsa rates him. He's got a very high reputation. That's why he's got the job. But that's not translating on the field. And the results show that his methods are not working. It's just not working. Whether he's got luck or not, the results are dismissible or sackable offences. That's just the way football is. It's not personal against Mikel. It's not working.
No. And by the way, I've got no objections to Karen Price putting in things about Arteta. That's her opinion, and she's Arteta, ain't it? As long as it doesn't become abusive in it, I don't mind. It doesn't matter. Listen, I take any opinions on Arteta in or Arteta out, as long as we don't get personal.
Right? Well, that's the thing. It's not actually personal. We don't have to be mates, and we're probably never going to be mates. But it's become like the Arsene Wenger in and versus Wenger out, where people have bought grudges. It's becoming that way as well.
Yeah. Well, I've got no grudge against anyone. On my part, I've got no grudge against. I work every day with one who is the definite Arteta in. And I've got no grudges. We have a big argument on there, and that's it. That's all there is. It doesn't get personal. I put my views across. He puts his views across, and Kenny does the same. And we're not going to get personal and all that. Let's move on. Big game because I'll get this one out of the way because it's going to not far for kickoff. Manchester City against West Ham. West Ham. Playing really well at the moment, and on a good run of form. But I think I've noticed that when they did play a side, one of the top sides. They did get beat quite easily, didn't they, against Liverpool a few weeks back? So I'm gonna say on this one, Kenny, I'm gonna go 2-0 to Manchester City on this one. I don't know about you. I just feel that West Ham's good run is going to come to the end. But then I wouldn't, in this crazy season, I wouldn't be surprised if they got a result. But I'm going to go 2-0 West Ham. 2-0 Man City, sorry.
Well, for me, Man City can take the game away from you on a sixpence to the extent that they can demoralise you because of the fact that because they're so organised without the ball, and because they try to win the ball within 5 seconds of losing it, they disrupt your passing methods. They commit professional fouls. You know, Diaz is playing very well. So is Stones. You know, they've got 3 left backs. You know, Mendy, Shevchenko, and Cancelo. Right back, it's strong as ever. You know what I mean. And plus, the forwards all know their jobs. They all interplay, and they can leave players out. They can leave. You know, last season it was good. It was De Bruyne. This season it's gone one, and other players have come to the party. You know, Bernardo Silva, Foden, all these players have come to the party, so they can hurt West Ham. And the way West Ham are going to lose this is because of their manager. Their manager's got no balls. They're in a fantastic season, but what you worry about Moyes, and what a lot of West Ham fans and Everton fans weren't happy with Moyes, and Man United fans found that to their cost, and that's why he got fired, is that he has an inferiority complex when he plays the big teams. He doesn't let his players express themselves. It's like, West Ham are going to play 10 men behind the ball and see if they can play for a draw. That's how Moyes is. And he was like at Everton. That's why if you look at his results against the big teams at Everton, they're not great, especially away from home. And I think that he's going to play very much into Man City's hands by with his tactics, because I know he's going to put men behind the ball. Look what he did in the FA Cup. An FA Cup, as far as I'm concerned, is a free-for-all where you can express yourselves against Man United. What did he do? Put 10 men behind the ball and play for penalties. Got what he deserved. As far as I'm concerned, no sympathy for the man. And that's my biggest fear, that West Ham would lose and be meek, and they will not inherit the earth. And I think Man City will 3-4-0 because West Ham are going to be negative.
Well, so you're going to go 3-0 then? 3-0?
Yeah, 3 or 4-0. Yeah, definitely. Easy.
Yeah, I think if they do get in front. But it was a few years ago, West Ham went there, and Man City were top at the time. I think they went and surprised them, didn't they? I think they went and beat them at Man City. So you never know, but I'll tell you what, this is as you say, Kenny, it's a crazy season. Big relegation battle. West Bromwich Albion against Brighton. Do you know what? I'm looking at West Brom at the moment. And Brighton, to me, although they're down there, they're playing better football. They play better away from home as well. I'm going to go 2-1 to Brighton. Now, what about you, Kenny?
I fully agree with you. You know, West Brom need to start winning games. They need to start winning games. It's no good playing well. Because if you look, they've got a new striker. He's hard to handle. He rolls defenders. He's got a lot of pace, direct. But they need to get services to. But they don't just need to rely on him. They need to get goals from other angles as well. Pereira needs to come to the party. Diagana, I could do with more goals from you. Gallagher, good approach game. Get in the box and score some goals. You're not going to win. You're not going to win. Stay in the Premiership by being difficult to beat. You need to get some service in and put teams away. Because you're going down with a whimper, as far as I'm concerned. In terms of like Brighton, well, Brighton have got, for a team, believe it or not, Brighton have got a lot of options in a lot of positions. They got about 2 players for every position, especially from midfield into the forward line. I'm not saying they're all they're really good, but they have more options and more resources than West Brom, and they're more clinical, or especially away from the Amex Stadium. And I can only see Brighton winning this 2-0. I can't see West Brom. West Brom can't score goals. Brighton, have this, thing about them where they do have a bit of quality in terms of up front. And more pay. Danny Welbeck's fit now again. Connolly, they've got players like McAllister, Popper, all sorts of players, Gross, who are forward-thinking players and they create chances. So I can't see anything other than Brighton win.
Yeah. What score are we going for, Kenny?
I'm going 2-0 Brighton.
Okay. Can you write them down, write what you've done, and then we'll look at them next week, yeah? So write your ones down, yeah? And then we'll have a look.
You write mine down for me and send them to me because I ain't got a pen and paper.
All right, then I'll do that. So what you said, 2-0, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll move on to what's the next one? Let's have a look. The one that's hold on. What's this? What's the game on at 5:30 today? Hold on. Hold on, Kenny. 2 seconds.
That's right.
Actually, it's. I think it's hold on. Yeah,
there's 3 o'clock kickoff. Is there 3 o'clock game?
Leeds United at home to Aston Villa. That's an interesting game. I think this could be a real cracker. Actually,
is there a game at 3 o'clock today?
Yeah, that's the game we've just done. Yeah, the West one.
Oh, yeah. So
Leeds and Aston Villa. I think this is going to be
interesting.
A cracking game.
The thing about it, right? If Jack Grealish was playing, I'll definitely have an inkling towards Villa. Because I think what's happened is that he gives them this sort of je ne sais quoi to the extent that he can change the tempo of the game with just one run, one dribble, and he stops them from Villa from being a bit mechanical. Without Jack Grealish, I worry about them giving Leeds a lot of problems. Because don't get me wrong, they've still got some very good players. Traoré a very good player. Bartley needs to turn up. I think this is a time for Bartley to actually turn up to the party. I mean, he's got a World Cup next year. He's got Euros. And you would have thought that he joined Villa to get some first-team football so he can, nudge Gareth Southgate. I know he's had injuries, but if this was a game for Ross Bartley, it is now. He's going to get a lot of space. Leeds play the same way all the time. They play, like I said, they love the overloads on both sides of the pitch. They love the fact that they attack together. They attack together. And they try and defend together. When they lose the ball, try and get back in the position within 10 seconds, and that's why they're very fit. But the way they play also hurts them, and that's why it's down to Barkley. In terms of Leeds, they can't. Bamford is scoring a lot of goals. He's getting a lot of support from the flanks and also from his midfield. I can only see this going one way, and I can only see a 3-1 for Leeds, only because Grealish was playing. I'll go for I would have gone for a Villa nicking this by the odd goal 3-2. But with that Grealish, I'm going 3-1 Leeds.
I can't see. I haven't missed any super chats. I can't see any super chats. I can't see any other super chats in here, and I don't.
I think they'll be coming. So I think it's just a
sort of because you're saying I've missed a super chat and I can't see any. I do apologise, but it's not on my screen, and maybe the StreamYard they're not showing everything all the time, and I'm getting really pissed off with this now. You say 3-0 to Leeds, did you say?
No, I said 3-1 Leeds.
3-1 Leeds. Yeah, is Grealish fit for this or not?
No, Grealish he's going to be fit this Tuesday. They've got a game. I think they've got a game Tuesday, and he's fit next week.
I think he was a big miss the other day. What was they playing the other day? He was a really
Leicester.
Big miss. Yeah, that's it. They really missed him. I mean, I'm a big fan. I'm a bigger fan than McGinn. I think McGinn's a very underrated player. Very underrated.
Well, he'll be playing England he'll be playing against England this summer in the Euros.
Yeah, well, I think he's a very, very underrated player, and he's quality. But he needs Grealish in there as well.
Ross Barkley, as I said before, Ross Barkley can step up to the plate. He's more than capable of playing that Grealish role. He's got enough individual talent to do that. All Ross Barkley needs to do is sometimes he holds on the ball too long. He's too slow in releasing the ball. Be a bit more direct, mate. Take this opportunity.
Do you know what, Kenny? I fancy this as a draw, though, because Leeds do give away. Leeds do a very open team. And Villa,
that's right.
I think Villa can expose Leeds.
I agree with you.
Where Leicester are a bit more compact, play more counter, and I'm going to go 2-2. I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I'm going to go 2-2 on that one. What's the next one? The next one is this is an interesting game as well because it's Newcastle against Wolves. Where is it at on it?
I think it's St James's.
Well, if St James's Park, Newcastle against Wolves. I don't know about you, but this is a very interesting game, Kenny.
It's a very interesting game, and I think Newcastle need to win this. They need to start getting wins because they don't want a situation where teams are going to be catching up with them. The problem they got is that if Callum Wilson's unfit, I don't see where the goals are coming from. The positive thing for Newcastle is Massima is back for them, and that's helpful. I expect more from Shelvey as well in midfield because he's been lukewarm for me. He hasn't been playing too well, and defensively, the way they play. And with the reliance on the striker, they need to be extra tight in there because Wolves will hurt them. Like so, got players like Neto, Podence might come down to think Traore, and once Wolves go in front, then what will happen is that Newcastle will try and force the game without Callum Wilson, and that's when Wolves can do more damage in the counter attack, and that's why I look at it. I look at Newcastle's players. I look at Joe Linton, and I'm thinking, what's happened? He's just not right for him. He does all that approach play, but he isn't. He can't. He doesn't get in the box enough. He seems to be injury prone as well. I can only see Newcastle 0, Wolves 3. I really can't see Newcastle troubling the scorers without Callum Wilson. If he's fit, then I'll have better hopes for him.
Wolves have not been playing brilliant lately, have they? They've been very in and out. They're not been.
They are in and out. They've got some good players. Remember, they've missed their best player, which is Jimenez, and plus they sold another good player, Jota, to Liverpool. But But they've tried to plug that striker gap with Fabio Silva.
Neto's good though. Neto, he's playing well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a great player. But they try to plug the gap with Fabio Silva. But he's only 18, and they've got another player as well. Who got David Luiz sent off a month ago, a few weeks back. But what I'm still saying, I still feel that they still have enough quality, even though they're in and out in terms of consistency, to go to Newcastle and beat them. I really do feel that it's going to be a very difficult game for Newcastle without Callum Wilson.
Cool. Do you know we could be dropping a couple of places today, isn't it? If some of these results.
Well, it's our own making, but the good thing about it is that we could do something about it.
Yeah, we'll get onto our game later, which I'm quite confident about. I'm gonna go on this one. Newcastle 1, Wolves 2. I'm just gonna say Wolves are gonna get the game. Now we're on to our game now tomorrow. Kenny, both sides had mixed fortunes in Europe. Leicester, I thought were very poor. I watched the game. I thought they were very poor, but were they missing a lot of players or something? They don't.
No, I
only saw the pictures and towards the last 25 minutes. But look, did they have a few players out the other night?
No, I think he mixed and matched, but they still had a reasonable team and team capable of winning the game. I think what killed Leicester, it became a free for all. Really, I always say the most dangerous result in Europe is 0-0 away from home.
Oh, totally agree.
The most dangerous result.
The worst goal you can get away.
If Arsenal played, if Arsenal were to play anyone in Europe in the first leg and they drew 0-0 at the Emirates, I'll be mightily confident in the second leg, because it's nothing. It's even Stevens, and then what will happen is that if you get an away goal in the second leg, you're more vulnerable because you start panicking because you think, oh no, what am I going to do? You're going to. What's happening is that when you wait, because Prague got the first goal. Yeah. They began to control the game. And they controlled the tie, and that played into their hands, and Leicester were vulnerable. And then when the second goal, boom, that was game over. But in terms of like Leicester, there's two Leicesters for me. There's the Leicester away from home is very hard to beat. You know, unless they go to, obviously, if they went to Anfield, Liverpool bodied them. But the thing that they do very well is that they play the high line. They're very compact, but they've got players who can pick a pass. You know, I know people talk about Madison, but you've got Tielemans, very good player who can make a pass. They've got very good players at fullbacks, very good fullbacks. Plus another thing as well, they've got Harvey Barnes, who's just playing amazingly well, and they've got Jamie Vardy. So away from home with a counter-attack, that's where Leicester have played their best football. But when they're at the King Power, when the onus is on them to go, you know, like I said, be on a front foot. What I've managed to see is that teams have managed to get them on a counter attack. Like West Ham gone there and won. Man United should have battered them, but didn't. Liverpool, you know, like I said, had one of the a virtual nervous breakdown when they were controlling the game, and then they conceded one, and then you know it was a free for all. You know, but Fulham have gone there and bodied them, i.e., make themselves compact, hitting them on a counter attack. And then you also got Aston Villa have gone there and won as well. So Leicester have kind of obviously they've had very good results apart from those results tonight. But they beat Chelsea. But the reason why I think they beat Chelsea was defensive errors and defensive disorganisation with Chelsea under Lampard, but especially one of the goals involving Reece James, you know, going walkies. But it was when Chelsea tried to get on the front foot, Leicester were trying to hit them on the break, and that's when Leicester played their best football.
Just want to say just want to get this in before I take it off the screen. Flo, thank you so much for that Hennessy the other day. Went down really well, mate. Don't believe me. And in fact, it probably caused the celebration on the goal, which I hope has not been memed, by the way. My celebration of the winner.
It probably has.
If it has been memed, I'm a very worried man. But thank you.
Talking about memes, right? If someone's memed you, just laugh at them. Have a laugh.
I do laugh a bit.
All these people like out of context Gooner, out of context AFTV. Yeah, you know, majority of what he said. There's times when the person's been out of order. But majority of the times, it's just having a laugh. You know, if someone has takes a mickey out of you, take the mickey out of them back. Don't worry. You know,
I'm joking.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. But that's all it means. But in terms of us, this is where we could play. This is where we could do really well, because if we can hit Leicester on a counter attack, but the lineup has to be right, which means I can't have Smith Rowe and Odegaard in the same team. It just slows things down. One of them plays, one goes on the bench. I think you'll find there'll be a lot of players rested. I think Saka will be definitely rested for this one. All right, but I'd be disappointed in that, because I would like him to. I know they say just play.
I think he's running on low now. I think you could actually ruin him if you.
Yeah, look, the reason why, for selfish reasons,
he's fatigued. Yeah, he's fatigued. Yeah, so
but you know, for selfish reasons, reasons, I want him to play though, because I don't want Pepe on the right hand side. I want him on the left hand side.
Then if he overdoes it, plays, and then we lose him for 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, you say that. The person who knows whether he could play the games or not is Saka himself and the medical department.
Yeah,
if he's
but
fit to play, he's fit.
Players do not think up there they think they want to.
No, all right, not at all. They don't think like that. It's a massive decision, but we are without Saka in the side. I don't see how we're going to hurt Leicester on the counter attack. I really don't. You know,
Yeah.
Pepe's.
What's more important though is the games ahead, the European games. The league is gone for us. Isn't it?
Yeah, you say the league is gone, but we're still going to be annoyed if we just give the game to Leicester, because that's what happens. Is when you give the game, it's not just team selections that are a giveaway, and basically is as people say in Nigeria, dashing the game to Leicester. It's the mentality as well. It's like they're thinking, hang on, if Saka was playing, he's the sort of person who would turn the defence and create nervousness because he'll be running at the defence. Without Saka on the side, who's going to be able to run at Sienchu? Who's going to be able to run at Evans? I know it's a situation. I know exactly where you guys are coming from in terms of like rest and protect and blah blah. It's all about Europe and everything. But we still got a significant amount of games in the Premiership left.
I think with the shuffle we'll win it anyway because Kenny, I look at Leicester. I think they've had a bad result. They probably the only thing they haven't travelled, have they? They were at home. They've had a bad result. They might be a bit flat. There's no Maddison. Remember, no Maddison. I think he's a big loss. Madison makes
remember, you got to remember one thing: is that they played loads of games, without Madison this season, and a small portion of last season, and they still got some great results. I know last season, by the time last season, they struggled a bit and fell away, and that's obviously something Rodgers doesn't want to do because top four's theirs if they want it, so they're going to do it, but. I still think that the player who actually runs that midfield and dictates it and is the boss of the midfield is Tielemans. I think that Tielemans will be a bigger loss for Leicester than Maddison will be. I think with Tielemans, that engine, you know where people talk. Obviously, McGinn is nowhere in his league, but you always look at Aston Villa's midfield and you think, hang on here, the person who's actually running the show is McGinn. And I think when you look at Leicester, the person who runs the midfield is Tielemans. Saying that, if they play to the best of their ability, they beat us. You know it and I know it. If Leicester plays well, everyone's ticking. They beat us 3-0, 3-1, 3-0. But because it's away from home, and because I do think they struggle to be on the front foot, I could see it being like a 1-1, 2-1.
No win.
We can nick it. We can definitely nick it. We've got the players. But without Saka, no. If Saka's not playing, no chance. Got no chance because I don't see a player.
There is hints that Willian is going to come in for Saka tomorrow. So
no, I want nothing against Willian playing. Because at the end of the day, I'm not one of those people going to beat him up have a go at him because I think. It's not all right to have a go at Hector Bellerin, but it's all right to have a go at Willian, that sort of crowd. And they actually legitimise it and they start having memes of them having heart attacks when he comes on the pitch. But I'm just saying, I don't see us being able to stretch sides in the Premiership without Saka. So if they do rest him, then I can't see us winning this match. I really can't.
Yeah, it'd be interesting what the team selection is tomorrow because I'm sure there will be a few. Because it was a trip. They've come back from a trip in Greece. And then that'd be interesting that we're playing back in Greece again. And then the next a few days later, we've got Spurs. So that'd be interesting. Apparently, Spurs have had the advantage of having their tie reversed now and they're playing at home. So they might have a big advantage in that game as well.
It's all about advantages, but Dave, it's what you do in the field. You could talk, Dave, if you play poorly, then you're going to lose football matches. You know what I mean? And again, that's extra pressure on people behind the scenes and people who are in
So
charge.
what are you going on this game then,
Well,
Kenny?
if Saka was playing, if Saka plays, I would have gone for a 2-2. No Saka, 3-1 Leicester.
So shall I put 2-2 on the presumption that Saka's playing? And if it does
Yeah.
change, I'll change it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Hold on. 2-2. Right. Next game is they'll be kicking off at the same time as us. It's Crystal Palace and Fulham. I think it's where is it? I think it's at Crystal Palace, isn't it?
Yes, right. Yeah, Selhurst Park.
Yeah. This is one. This is a hard because Fulham are not playing bad at the moment. They're right up. They've pulled up right in. Actually, it surprised me because when I watched them on the first game of the season, but then they did bring in a few loan players and that's changed it. But when I watched it first, I said these are going to be lucky getting double points. But they're now 3 points behind Newcastle on their. I don't know what to make. Crystal Palace, they're I don't know what to make. They're one of these teams that can either win 1 week well and the next week completely get done. I'm going to go for a draw in this, Kenny. I'm going to go 1-1.
I think it's an argument to call because, you know, Crystal Palace, in all intents and purposes, on the Monday Night Football, were actually, overwhelmed and were very much on a back foot against Brighton and the Amex. But the thing about Crystal Palace is that they still got a bit more, they still got the odd quality where they can actually nick games, like Benteke nicking that goal in injury time, 2-1. And I look at Crystal Palace's players in forward positions, you know, like attacking midfield and forwards, and I just think that there's a lot of quality there still in terms of like there's more enough to win that game tomorrow. But then I look at Fulham and they're actually more compact now. I think what Spot Parker did is that the first few games he was playing Championship players in the Premiership, like players who served him well. And, especially the playoff win against Brentford, and also players who served him well against, to actually get into the playoffs themselves. He actually selected them for the Premiership, and that's when they're getting bodied. And then when he got better players who are probably more suited to the Premiership, Fulham's results have improved significantly. They've got Lookman on loan as well, who can open the door, and also they got more direct player Carvalho as well. So if Fulham score the first goal, I think for Crystal Palace going to find it very difficult to get back to win this game. Saying that, I think because of Crystal Palace's extra quality and Fulham's resilience, I'm going to go for a 1-1. I'm going for a draw as well. Because I think Crystal Palace has got a defensive mistake in them, and I think Fulham have got the quality, but they don't score enough goals for me. So 1-1's fair.
Right, now to I think the biggest game of the weekend, no doubt about it. It's the one at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
I've got to admit the one at Old Trafford, the game at Old. If it's the game at Old Trafford, then you can have a nice kick for a couple of hours because it was absolutely a snore fest. I don't know what to make of it. Man United have got a fantastic away record, but Chelsea lately have really, under Tuchel, have come good again. You know, they're really looking as if he's got them playing to the right way. They're moving the ball a bit better, quicker. They're moving the ball around. They look much better side. But Manchester United, they've got this away record that's amazing. One thing I will say, and I will say this, I watched Bruno Fernandes's record against playing against the big sides, the so-called big sides, is not very good. But I think this is enough. I think this is another draw. Actually, I'm going to go 1-1 on this one. Hopefully a better game.
In terms of this game, I agree with you. Man United's records fans, this season has been the best. Everyone talks about City's away record, Leicester's record. Forget it. The best away record's Man United. You know, and in fact, their away record actually kept them in touch for the top two, top two place. You know what I mean? They're actually challenging. I think maybe a bit early for them, but in terms of like, if you look at both teams, Man United have got a better team, better players. You know, they've got a top right back who I believe is going to be in Gareth Southgate's squad, because I think the right backs digress. You know, players like Alexander Arnold is in wretched form. Walker's goes walkies, and I think that this guy Wan-Bissaka is the best defensive right back out there, and he's got a bit better on the ball, because I know Southgate likes his players to be good on the ball, so I think he's got a good chance. Right left back as well. One of the things is that Chelsea got a better coach, and I think midfield's going to be very, very important. It's who he's going to select. I think Man United, in a perverse sort of way, actually missed Pogba. Not because I think with Pogba in the side, it basically lessens the workload for Fernandes. But saying that, one of my biggest bugbears.
Fernandes, you mean?
But you know, one of my biggest bugbears of Man United is Rashford and Martial. Martial, you don't know what Martial's turns up. He doesn't play as if he's hungry to score goals. And Rashford, I'm sorry, mate. If you put your chances away, I think Man United would probably still be in the Champions League, and they'll definitely be challenging for this title, because the amount of chances Rashford gives up, especially when they're ones and ones, it's just ridiculous. Its conversion rate is poor. It's poor, and I think we're going to see a situation tomorrow where Rashford's going to get some good chances, but he's not going to put them away, and that's going to probably cost the difference between Man United beating Chelsea and getting a point. Chelsea are going to be very dangerous. I think Hudson-Odoi. I know we were talking about the situation with Tuchel, but I think Tuchel likes the player and rates him very highly, and he thinks, right, he's my boy. I'm going to call out my boy. And people say, oh, why is he having a go? Why are you saying that when he's having a go at Hudson-Odoi? Well, Hudson-Odoi is playing tomorrow because he rates Hudson-Odoi higher than he rates Reece James, because Hudson-Odoi gives him more going forward. So he's going to be very dangerous. I think striker-wise, they're probably going to worry about Abrahams. Werner, don't know what's happened to him. He does great approach play, but he's another Martial. Doesn't seem hungry for goals. If Pogba was playing, Man United win this 3-1. But without Pogba and with Rashford missing big chances, I'm going to go for a 1-1 or even a 0-0. That's that. You know what I mean? Which is going to be no good for Man United, because if Leicester beat us, then Man United are in third place.
So what are you going for? Sorry, Kenny. Sorry, mate. I didn't get what you.
I can only see a draw. I can't see any team winning. I don't think Chelsea have got the full.
Yeah, I've gone 1-1. Where you gone?
I've gone 0-0. I think Chelsea have got their. It's all about finishing. I think depends on defenders as well. I think I don't see Chelsea having the pace without Abrahams. I don't see any. I think the best way to sort of trouble Lindelof and trouble Maguire is you've got pacey forwards, and Chelsea without Abrahams, where's the pace? Where is the pace? So it's 0-0 for me.
There's a super chat coming in from the signature. Who do you think from Chelsea would get into the England squad?
Hudson-Odoi. Easy. Mason Mount. Hudson-Odoi. Good enough player to play there. Tammy Abrahams is knocking on the door as well, because there's a few injuries, a few strikers. So
not his biggest fan, Kenny, I'm afraid.
You maybe so, but he scores goals. He still knows his way at goals, and I know he's very much in Southgate's faults. But there's obviously Reece James as well. Definitely going to get a look in, because he was his kind of the player that he was looking at over Alexander Arnold and over Walker. So Reece James 100% definitely gets in that squad. We've mentioned Man, Abraham for me, Hudson-Odoi for me, definitely should get a look in as well. Those 400% for me will will look good in Southgate's squad. The good thing about the good news is that Southgate's got a lot of players to pick from. The problem we got, and the thing that's going to actually hurt England in terms of the Euros, is Gareth Southgate, the coach, because in the World Cup, you're not in the World Cup. You get to play teams like Panama, Tunisia, but in the Euros, you're playing the best of Europe, who just happen to be one of the best teams in the world, and that's why the Euros is always, for me, more difficult to win than the World Cup. There's no easy game in the Euros, and that's why I worry about Southgate as England coach, and I think he's going to balls it up. I really do.
Do you know what, Kenny? Am I missing something? We've done 7 games, and I'm sure. I hope we haven't missed anything. So far, we've done 7 games, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got Sheff United, Liverpool, haven't we?
Yeah, and I've seen Everton and Southampton. That makes 9. Where's the other game gone? And I'll try and find the other game. I might have gone past it without knowing. Sheffield United versus Liverpool, Kenny.
You know something, right? Everyone's talking about Liverpool's, not having the defenders and not having Jordan Henderson. I still think that Klopp should take a lot of responsibility, because he's been very, very, very stubborn in terms of he hasn't changed the way they're playing to accommodate the fact that they are missing the defensive organisation of Van Dijk. They are missing the Van Dijk's ability to at set pieces. They are missing Van Dijk's diagonal long passes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's tried to play the same way. Because obviously that way it's basically to suit Salah and Mane. But in terms of protecting the defence now, he's now going to have to play the young guy from Schalke, and he's also going to have to play Ben Davies. And also you got Phillips. He's going to have to play players like Phillips. You know what I mean? I think what he's going to need, this is when he's going to need his mate James Milner to show a bit of leadership. They're going to need him big time. And they're going to need Fabinho back as quickly as possible. You know what I mean? In order to salvage their top 4 places. Saying that, there's too much quality in Liverpool. There's still more than enough quality in terms of Alexandre Arnold at right back, Robertson at left back. There's still quality with the front 3. And they still got Curtis Jones is playing well. And they still got Thiago. They should not fear Sheffield United. Sheffield United cannot score to save their lives. There's no goals in that team. There was hardly any goals last season, but they found a way. But the only player that seems to gets the odd goal is McGoldrick. But how many goals has he scored this season? 4 or 5. Billy Sharp isn't a Premiership player. It hasn't worked out. It hasn't worked out for the young lad they bought from Liverpool. Brewster hasn't worked out for him. Hasn't scored this season. Not working out. McBurney doesn't score goals. And plus another thing as well, they've had significant injuries. So the overlapping fullbacks, overlapping centre backs, that's just not working because they haven't got the players to play that way. So if Liverpool really want to take the pressure on themselves, they've got to go there and win comfortably. And I still think they will. They're going to win. It's going to be 3-0, 3 or 4-0 Liverpool. Seriously.
Yeah.
You can't have that quality and then that much quality and worry about Sheffield United. Sorry, Sheffield United fans, but Liverpool got too much quality.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go 3. I think it could be tight. I think it'd be 2-0. I'll be a bit more tighter than that. But yeah, I think you're spot on there. You say 3-0, didn't you, Kenny? You know what? Missed out. I can't believe it. Yeah, it's our boys down the road and Spurs again. That's the game I missed.
Spurs are playing Burnley.
How do you see that one going, Kenny? I get this feeling with Spurs. They're starting to look at Bale is starting to improve. He's actually coming back to not back to what he was, but he looks a bit much better. I don't know if it's the opposition the other night, but he looked a lot better a lot better place than what he has been. And I got Burnley, though, a very difficult team, aren't they? Especially at home. I'm actually gonna say very narrow, 1-0 to Spurs. But I don't know about you.
You know what? I look at Burnley, and I see players who are working their nuts off for their manager, and they work for the system. Ashley Barnes works his nuts off. You know, Wood plays well as well. You know, Neil, he's very direct.
I know what you're going to say.
Look. You know, they still got some. Their defensive side to penetrate. Me and Sikowski, and Pope's a good player as well. I looked at their performances at the Emirates, and I looked at their performances at Anfield, where they're more than happy to soak up the pressure, more than happy. And the thing, and they know at set pieces they're going to be difficult because they're very accurate in the set pieces. And also another thing as well, they know they've got a bit of quality in Barnes as well to nick something. And you know, it's after Europe. It's just after Spurs playing in Europe. Albeit on a Wednesday. Wednesday. And I look at their players, and I'm thinking, you know what? You're at 6s and 7s there, guys. You know, I know you lot are sort of thinking about the Carabao Cup final and everything, and it's not in mind. I think if Spurs don't score early, I think Burnley. I think this is going to be either a 0-0 or Burnley nick it. I really do, because of the way Burnley are so organised. If Spurs score first, then they're winning 3 or 4. They're winning this 3-0, 3-1. But if they don't score that early, it's going to be a long afternoon for Spurs, and a very frustrating one, where I think this is going to be a 0-0.
You're at 0-0, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I've gone 1-0 to Spurs, but I don't. You could be right. I think there might not be that many goals in it. And finally, I think there's five. No, have we done? No, the final is the Everton playing Southampton. Good win for Everton the other week. They were in a bit of a bad run, and then suddenly they go to Anfield and beat Liverpool. Done really first time for a long time. I can't remember the last time they won at Anfield, but yeah. And then now they've got Southampton, who are quite a strange team. They can, on their day, they can turn teams over. Sure, this could be a very good game because both teams play good football as well. I'm gonna. This is another one. I'm gonna sit on the fence on this one. I'm gonna say 2-2 draw.
That's the thing about Southampton, is that they've still got, even though they've fallen down the table. I think they're 13th or 14th, despite the fact that there was a period where they were actually on top of the table. But I think, you know, losing 9-0 to Man Utd has drained their confidence. That you know what I mean. Especially even though they don't add 10 men, I think they're still affected by it. They're not going to get relegated, and they're probably going to get themselves in a bit of fall, and maybe push themselves up the table, probably finish about 10th, 11th, and that represent a good season for them. But I look at them. They still got players like Adams. They still got they still got Armstrong, who's playing well. Wolves-Prowse with that delivery, still be good. Defensively, they're not bad despite the Man City game. But what they are missing, I think they miss Walker Peters a bit in terms of like the directness, especially from that right back berth. And I think that's where they've been very vulnerable. Everton, you know, I've got Calvert-Lewin back. So they've got good strikers. You know, Rodriguez is playing well as well. So for me, I think I can only see an Everton win. I can only see Everton. It's not going to be pretty, but I can see Everton winning 3-0.
Yeah, you reckon 3-0? Yeah, right. We'll put that. We'll take that, and I think that completes all the games. Then that Yeah, that competes every game. I think. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see how these scores come up and see who gets the most next week. Yeah. Don't worry, I won't.
I don't know if you probably will because I've known to be wrong. Don't be wrong. I think the Man I might get the Man United result ring. I mean, wrong because let's face it. Man United surely can't go the whole season unbeaten away from home. And if there's any team that to beat them at home would be Chelsea because of the fact that Chelsea that's like a team that could beat anyone on their day. But it's a big week, a few days for Chelsea because they've got Man United and they got to go to Anfield next week. Like where
it's a funny set of fixtures. How comes all these teams are playing them games and we're not?
Because it's one of those things. It's the computer. But
I know what's happened. I know. Is it the ones that are playing in the weekend of the FA Cup have been asked to play?
I don't know. I have no idea. But all I know is that Chelsea and Man United, it's going to be a massive game, and then Liverpool Chelsea's massive. That both as far as
that's at Anfield, isn't it?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, both matches for Chelsea are 6 pointers in terms of getting into the top four. And next week it's definitely a 6 pointer. And again, Klopp needs to use his brains there, mate. He needs to devise a style where he has to protect that defence. He has to protect that defence because Chelsea have got too many players who are good on the ball. You know what I mean? And would be able to open Liverpool up if they're allowed to do that. And that's why, as much as he wants to play his rock and roll football, he's got to preserve that top four place because in the European Cup,
unless they win
the Champions League, which I think they're more than capable of doing. With that, if you've got a front three like that. Plus, you've got those fullbacks. I don't care what anyone says, right? In terms of the Champions League, right? The only team that I think who are the complete package in the Champions League is Bayern Munich. All the rest of the sides are beatable, including Man City. And the reason why I say that about Man City is I look at Man City against good teams in Europe. I still think that the way they play, they're going to be vulnerable. That teams will body them. I mean, look what happened last season. Leon played them like a fiddle, and in the season before that, Spurs beat them home and away, and before that, Liverpool bodied them. And I still think there's something missing from Man City in the Champions League. And I think that Liverpool know how to win this competition, and they even know how to get the final. I mean, their record in this competition, apart from last season, has been fantastic. Final 1 year, winning it. I don't know what happened against Madrid. I think they actually thought they could win it, but I think they were too concentrated in the league and winning the league. Now the league's gone. They can put all their eggs in the basket of the Champions League. But what they need to do is try and preserve their top four place as well. And that's why there's going to be There's going to be 6 pointers for them against Chelsea next week. And obviously they've got to play Man United as well. That's going to be another 6 pointer. But in between that, they're going to need to win their games, and Klopp needs to change.
Yeah, at the moment, by the way, everyone, I've got it on my thing here. It's still 10 minutes gone. It's Man City 0, West Ham 0. So at the moment,
how many men have West Ham got behind the ball?
Yeah, quite a few actually. It's just a camp. It's like they're just camping in there at the moment.
Royce's tactics.
Yeah, and I don't know whether this can work against Man City because eventually they just get one pass through and that's it, goal, isn't it?
The problem is the only team
sometimes I think if you're brave enough. I remember, what was it, Leicester? They went there and they were brave enough and they went for it, didn't they?
But that's Leicester away from home, isn't it? But the 18.
But then they went behind, so they had to come out. So
it did. Oh yeah, that's right. That brilliant. It was Morris who scored that wicked goal, in it? His left, his right foot.
His old club, yeah.
And then they went 5-1 up, and then the Man City got a consolation second. But in terms of like this season,
people are disputing your Portuguese thing, but unless there's someone Portuguese can confirm what Kenny's pronunciation of Fernandes.
No, it's Fernandes. It's Fernandes. Because the thing about it is that, like Portuguese, in Portuguese, the S, the ES is like S. But what's happened is it's a silent thing as well. And the reason why I know it's Fernandes is one, because not because of my Portuguese friends, is Bruno pronounced it himself on a show. He said, and he actually said, "My name is Bruno Fernandes." He said it himself.
Right.
Bruno Fernandes.
That's how you know. That's how
I know. He went on the show last season. He went on Soccer AM and he went, "Hello, everyone. My name is Bruno Fernandes." He said it himself.
Oh, don't tell me.
Like, for instance, oh, don't.
I don't know. It's my camera's frozen, but I don't know. But Sergio Aguero apparently is back playing.
Oh, geez, he needs to go.
I think he'd have been offside anyway. Is there a little tug there? They keep praying this. I don't know why. What's happening here? 1 minute.
Right, so he's given a penalty.
No, he's not. I don't think he has. I think the geezer. No.
But as I was saying before, I think what's happening, right, is that I think in this country we tend to pronounce names which is suited to the way we speak.
No,
like,
I think that's
for instance, we get a lot of Irish names wrong. A lot of Irish names, like we say Cahill. It's not how you pronounce it in Ireland. It's Cahill. We say Gallagher. It's not how you pronounce it. It's Gallagher. They say Moran. No, it's not Moran. It's Moran. That's how you pronounce it. Because I used to go on quite a lot, and I've got a lot of Irish friends. So I know how to pronounce these names. Like,
here we go. The man for pronunciations. Yeah, you're the man for pronunciations.
Yeah, but like for instance, you got people who say Andre Villas-Boas. No, it's not. It's Andre Villas-Boas. That's how you pronounce it in Portuguese.
What about Mourinho? Is that pronounced?
No, that's the right pronunciation because it's easy to pronounce because of the things. But you got to remember, in terms of Portuguese, it's the ES. It gives you an indicator, or the OS gives you an indicator how to pronounce names. Like
Jose. Is it Jose or Jose?
It's Jose because in Portuguese they use the J and they pronounce it a J, but in terms of like and they use the J and a G, but Spain is heh. You know what I mean? Like for instance, another thing as well. It's like the Z in South America is spelt like Z, Zar, or Gonzalez, but in Spanish, F. Something Folla. You know about that? Yeah.
Why do all our fans say
because English people pronounce names that suits the pronunciations. For instance, Solskjaer's name, or his first name is not pronounced right. If you go to Norway, they call him Ulla.
We say Rome, but it's Roma. It's not Rome. It's Roma.
Yeah. Like we're probably murdering Erdegaard's name as well. We're probably mispronouncing that as well. Yeah. Like for instance,
on his O, he's got a line going through the O. What does that mean?
That's the language. It's the Norwegian language, isn't it? Like for instance, German and Turkish, they have the umlaut. The 2 dots. So it's the language, and
We've turned this into a pronunciation show. I mean, this is.
I don't know. We've got time on the res. I want to watch the rest of the match.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Well, anyway, everyone, I'll stay in backstage. I want just a quick word with you, Kenny. I won't keep you on, mate. Thank you, everyone, for in the chat. Well, you've learned not only about football today, you've learned about pronunciations with our school teacher, Kenny Ken. Listen, Kenny, thanks a lot, mate. Thanks for coming on. Thanks, everyone in the chat. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely weekend. Let's hope the Arsenal can do it tomorrow. Or all you other teams, I wish you luck, unless you're a Tottenham fan, though. Take care. All the best. Bye for now.